Hey folks, welcome to this quick look at the latest project from Inkwell Ideas. I'm the founder of Inkwell Ideas, Joe Wetzel, and this is our Restless Encounters deck, which solves what I think is a really interesting problem under something that there aren't a lot of products out there for, and that's for to a list or a series of interesting encounter ideas for when the party makes camp and they're resting throughout the night. A lot of times a GM will roll on a chart, but the best options they have are things like an orc patrol or a pack of giant rats or something. So we're going to give you a deck of cards where each card is an encounter idea along those lines of something interesting during the party's rest. In addition to that, though, we're going to get to it in a moment, but we also have these encounter builder decks that we've created as well, and we'll get into the details about those in a minute. But to talk about some of these in more detail, like I said, each card in the deck, aside from the cover front card, if you will, credits card, will have a scene on one side or an NPC, a creature, maybe a map of a campsite area. That'll be one side. The other side will be an encounter outline, giving you some of the details about the encounter, what the NPCs might do, what the motivations might be, that sort of thing. And so in this case, we've got the PCs. They spot a cave, and they might check it out, make sure it's not too deep, make sure that there's no secret back doors or anything like that. And then they'll make camp there, and then they find out that it's actually the mouth of a giant earth elemental, and it's trying to suck away the metals that they have. So that's one idea. Another idea here is you've got a number of small game creatures. The creator of this card likes to throw in a lot of made up creature names and stuff so that you can pull in whatever you want. You can say that they're rabbits, or you can say that there's something unusual, like in this case he's saying rabbit-like insects the size of a forearm, and they're being chased by a predator through camp, and so what do the PCs want to do about that? Here we've got a card with goblin pranksters. You got two groups of goblins that are kind of trying to one-up each other with pulling pranks on the PCs. Then this one's an interesting one where you've got an alien or otherworldly entity that's kind of possessing a person, and that person wanders into camp, and they're just trying to experience life. The alien is trying to learn more about this world through the interactions with the NPC. So they ask sometimes some serious questions, or sometimes some inane, silly questions, or what might seem to us to be silly. Here, Haggling in Chains. This one is about a bounty hunter who has their bounty, and both of them are hurt, and both of them want help from the PCs. Which side will the PCs take, and why? Here we've got some cursed wood that manifests shadows that attack the PCs. Here we've got a number of fireflies that will soak up the campfire light and the fire itself, and so the PCs are kind of stuck without a fire. What do they want to do with that? Here we've got a more traditional creature that's attacking the PC's camp, but it's doing that in an unusual, different way. And then this is another case. We've got some NPCs that are interacting with the party. The party sees the other group camping up ahead, or vice versa, and this other group has a number of people who want to trade, want to help out, want to the PCs, but always want to get the advantage in any kind of a deal. So that gives you a pretty good idea of the spectrum of encounter ideas and types of illustrations that are going to be in the deck. As I said, though, we are also adding in what we had done before. We did these kind of prior to the most recent couple of conventions, and we've only really had them for sale there and on our store, Amazon, and actually Drive-Thru RPG. But this is kind of a way to get them out in front of more people. And these are encounter builder decks. The idea here is that you just deal out a few of them, look for some commonality, look for some situation that you can develop based on the pictures. Each card is double-sided art cards, and then you've got an instant city scene encounter idea in this case, or there's also a dungeon set, which we'll see in a moment, and a wilderness set. So we can just scroll through a few of these, and you might say, hey, you see this explosion happening as you down near this rundown house, and you see this woman in the window. Well, what do you guys want to do? So it's kind of like that sort of a situation where you can just deal out several of these. Hey, there's a hanging down in town, and you could say, oh well, and that person is accused of poisoning this other person. So it's that kind of thing. Now those are real quick that I'm getting just by doing three. Typically I'd deal out 5 or 6 and only use 3 of them to kind of give us a little bit more of a variety. Like here, I can say that hey, there's a full moon out tonight, and the PCs are walking back to the inn or walking out of the inn, whatever the case might be, and they spot this guy here about to ambush the man in red. Why is he doing that? Well, maybe he knows that the man in red is a werewolf, actually, but the PCs might not know that, so they might come to the rescue, and then what happens? So that's the idea behind these, and then, like I said, we've got also a dungeon scenes deck, which gives you a number of things that are in a dungeon. You've got some locations, and you've got some features of the different rooms, and you've got some potential enemies. And then for our wilderness scenes, likewise, you've got a number of points of interest, large locations like a watchtower there. You've got events like this bear trap. You've got another point of interest, this dragon monument here. And they're all labeled in all these decks. They're all labeled, but you don't have to use them as labeled. If you find it interesting that there's something else about, if you want to talk about the fungus here instead of the carnivorous tree, that's fine. Use it however. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So we felt like, hey, having these out as picture cards instead of just story prompt cards where it's just one sentence on a card or something. We felt like this was more interesting because on this card, this cliffside village, you've got several different things going on. You've got a traveler arriving into the village. You've got the village itself. You've got an elevator. What aspect of that triggers something interesting in your mind, especially when you put it together with some other of the cards. So that's what this is all about. Again, the main focus is the new deck, though, our Restless Encounters deck, which, like I said, I think really does serve an underseen, underrepresented market product as far as, you don't really have a lot of good options for random encounter ideas in the middle of the night when the PCs are resting. And that's just a very common fantasy trope to roll for those random encounters. So we hope that this will make your games a whole lot better, and we hope that you can support us on BackerKit's crowdfunding platform when we launch this. Thank you.